Yes, good morning, everyone. Going to start the lecture uh, from the same point at where we left the previous class. So let me just take the same example which we were doing. Although this was complete, so let me just show you what was there in this example. Just a moment. Okay. Yeah, so we were supposed to find Fourier series expansion of this function, which was defined piecewise. From minus pi to 0 it was 0, and from 0 to pi it was sine x, and this was given to be a periodic function. So we computed a naught, so a naught turned out to be 2 by pi. Then we computed an. So for an I did the calculation in front of you, as you can see, and in an we just simplified, and we got this, the value of an, 1 by pi n square minus 1 into minus 1 raised to power n plus 1 plus 1. And then we computed bn, so this will turn out to be 0. So this I told you to verify this yourself, that bn will turn out to be 0. The integration is not tough in this case. You just have to use the formula of 2 sine a sine b, which is cos a minus b minus cos a plus b. And once after doing after using this formula, just integrate. Integral of cos will be sine again, and when you will be substituting the upper and lower limit, because it's pi and 0, so we know that sine at any integral multiple of pi is 0 and sine 0 is 0. So clearly this whole integral is going to be 0. Now there is just one point left which needs to be discussed for this question, that when we are writing Fourier series is this. So if you look closely at this term, right? If you look at the denominator of this term, an, which we computed, so it is n square minus 1. So we know that the denominator always has to be non-zero, because otherwise it will not be a defined term. So n square minus 1 has to be non-zero. It implies n has to be not equals to 1, because there are only two possibilities which will make n square minus 1 is 0. So n square minus 1 is going to 0 if n is 1 or n is minus 1. But we know that n is positive integer, so it cannot be minus 1. So the only possibility for it is n is equal to 1, because our summation is starting from n is equal to 1 to infinity. So that means this summation which I have written, which need to correct it, right? I need to write it n is equal to 2 to infinity, because n is equal to 1, this term will not be defined. I hope that point is clear, because n is equal to 1 is making this term undefined. So this cannot be aligned like that. It has to be n is equal to 2 to infinity. So that means the values these ans are representing are a2, a3, a4. We have the value of an for n is equal to 2, 3, 4, and so on. So what about a1? Where is now a1? Because a1 cannot be defined by this term. So that means for a1 we need to do the separate calculation. So a1 needs to be computed separately. This will happen in many of the questions, or few questions you can say, where we will have an as a function of n, but we should be also taking care of these things, that okay, let's see the denominator is not becoming 0. So the problematic point is n is equal to 1. So for n is equal to 1, we need to compute an separately. So what is the formula for an? Although we have already computed an, so a1 cannot be seen from there. So if you look at the formula for an, yeah, okay, I just want to see the function definition. So it is from minus pi to 0, the function is 0. From 0 to pi, the function takes value sine x. Okay, let me just do that calculation of a1. So what is the a1? Yeah, an is basically 1 by pi minus pi to pi fx cos nx dx. We just need to compute a1, so you put n is equal to 1. So a1 is 1 by pi minus pi to pi fx cos x dx. So on putting n is equal to 1, so this will be cos nx will be just cos x, and then you just solve this integral. So minus pi to 0, the function is taking value 0, and from 0 to pi, the function is taking value sine x. So this is 1 by pi integral 0 to pi. Now this is sine x into cos x. So what is sine x into cos x? Sine 2x by 2. So we know the 2 sine theta into cos theta is sine 2 theta. So by 2 is there because of the formula. So this is 1 by 2 pi 0 to pi sine 2x dx. Yes, please tell me the value of this integral. What is the final answer for A1? What is the value of A1 which you will be getting from here? Yes. Have you done the calculation? What value of A1 you will be getting? 0. This is turning out to be 0. So yeah, so what was a special case in this particular problem was that when we compute ans and bns, there is never going to be a problem with a naught because it is not a function of n. But an and bn, the final answer is always going to be a function of n. So we need to see, because of these kind of terms appearing in the denominator, in some cases these kind of problems were not there in so far done previous questions. They were not there was not any problem with any value of n. But here, because there is a possibility of denominator becoming 0 at n is equal to 1, so that simply means that this value of an is defined for all n not equals to 1. So for n is equal to 1, you need to compute it separately. Yes, Ayushi? Yes. If you have any doubt, please raise your hand. So I just hope that is clear. Okay, so for an, we did the separate computation. We computed a1 and we got the value. So a1 is turning out to be 0. So now let me write the final answer. So the final answer is your Fourier series. So whatever we had written there, let me just see again. What was a naught? Yeah, this was the series. A naught was 2 by pi, so a naught by 2 was 1 by pi. So this is, I'm just correcting the answer here only. Actually, this is the final answer, because what is happen? You need to add here a term a1 times cos x, because if you expand this, this summation is a1 cos x plus a2 cos 2x plus a3 cos 3x and so on. So from 2 onwards, these terms have been written in the form of summation because that's well defined from n is equal to 2 onwards. It is just this term needs to be written separately after computing the value of a1. So now you have computed a1, so a1 is turning out to be 0. So that means you don't need to write this term. Okay, so whatever answer we had written previously, that is the complete answer. The only change you need to do is make this summation from n is equal to 2 to infinity, right? And this term will not be there because actually this term is getting the value 0. In other cases, in other examples, there can be a non-zero value of a1 also. So whatever it comes, you just add it into the final answer as a separate term, right? So I just hope that is clear. So let me move ahead with the uh, next topic. Actually, it's not next topic, it's something we have already discussed, but let's just discuss it little bit formally now. Fourier series of odd or even function, because the questions we have done so far, there also I was giving you ideas that what will happen if the function happens to be an odd function or it happens to be an even function. So now let's just do that again revise these definition. So what do you mean by an odd function? So if f of minus x is minus of fx, so if any function satisfies this, so we call it to be a odd function. And otherwise, other cases, even function. So if f of minus x is same as f of x, in that case we call it to be a even function. So the examples of odd functions are sin x, x cube, x square into sin x. So these are all odd function. You can check and see the definition. And even functions are cosine x square into cosine x square itself is an even function. So there are examples of odd and even functions. So some functions are standard, we know them, so we directly use. But if we do not know, then always use the definition. This is the mathematical way of checking whether a given function is an odd function or a even function, right? Otherwise, how you can check? The other option is graphically. If sometimes mathematically you're not comfortable doing the calculations, so you can see graphically, provided you know the graph of that function. Because otherwise, if you do not know the graph of that function, then firstly you have to make your efforts towards drawing the graph and then you check. So better you can decide whether how you want to confirm what the function is odd, even, or graphically or mathematically. So graphically, what is going to happen? So for even function, yes, graphically or geometrically, what is going to happen for even function? These are going to be symmetrical with respect to the y axis, right? Because if you change x to minus x, right? This is the meaning of even function. If you change x to minus x, what will happen? The function remains same. So if this side is x positive, this side we know x is negative x axis, this is positive x axis, and this is our y axis. So whatever is happening on the right hand side of y, means for positive value of x, if the same gets reflected on the negative x values, so that means the function is an even function. For example, this is a graph of, say, y is equal to x square. Similarly, we know y is equal to sin x. Sorry, not sin x, cos x. Cos x is going to be a even function. So, because we know their graphs already, so whatever is happening here, the same gets reflected on this side. So if you know the graph of the function, you can check that. And what will happen for odd function? Yes, where the odd function is going to be symmetrical about? Any idea? So there will be a symmetry with respect to origin, because whatever is happening in the first quadrant, that will be reflected in the third quadrant, because f of minus x, that means on changing x to minus x, the function magnitude becomes negative, right? So whatever is above the y-axis will get transferred to below the x-axis. So something like this, sin x, you can have an example of sin x. So you see, this is a graph of sin x, that whatever is the shape of the function, graph of the function in first quadrant, the same gets there. So first quadrant here, by quadrant I means this in the xy plane, right? So similarly, you know the graph of y is equal to x cube. So this is how they looks like. So graphically you can check. So now the point is why we are discussing these odd and even functions. So first thing is, you should now be able to know whether a given function is even or odd. Okay, let me share a few more remarks about even and odd function which you can use in these questions, right? So there are few remarks which you can use directly. Sum of odd functions is odd. Sum of even functions is even. Are you aware about these results, or should I explain them? Because mathematically we can prove them, but there's no need to prove if you just know these results already, so that you can remember and use them. So if you add two odd functions, for example, x plus sine x. So x is also odd, sine x is also odd, so their sum is also going to be an odd function. So that's easy to see. You change x to minus x, so it will be minus x minus sine x. So you can take minus common, x plus sine x. So your original function was, your fx was x plus sine x. So when you changed x to minus x in fx, the final answer is minus of fx. So that's why this is an odd function. So you can generalize this result, sum of odd function is odd. Similarly, sum of even function is even. And what will happen if one is odd and other is even? So this one is neither even nor odd. For example, if you take x plus cos x, so in this, if you change x to minus x, so what is going to happen? Minus x plus cos x. So neither this is falling into the category of even, you cannot take the negative sign outside, and nor it is falling into the category of odd. So that's about sum. And what about product? Product of odd functions, product of two odd functions is even, right? Because say if you will have I'll just give you example directly. We have used these results although, but let me just give you the example. So if you have two odd functions, say x cube into sine x, so in this, if you change x to minus x, what is going to happen? There will be two negatives coming out, so minus x cube, and then it will be plus, because one more negative will come out from sine x, so it will be overall again the same function, x cube sine x. So that means f of minus x turning out to be same as f of x, therefore this is an even function. So you remember this result, if you multiply to odd function, the resultant is an even function. And similarly, product of two even functions is also even. So if they're already even, so no negative will come outside, so it is going to remain even. But if you have one odd and one even function, so product of an odd and an even function, so this is definitely going to be odd. So this also you can check through example. You take x times cos x, right? So you change x to minus x, so it will be minus x times cos x. So this gives you that product of an odd and even function is odd. So these are few remarks about odd and even functions. So now we are going to use this concept in the Fourier series. So what will happen to Fourier series of an odd function, right? So in this case, if you remember the general definition of Fourier series, that if you have a function, say this is defined on an interval minus L to L and the period is 2L, in that case we know the Fourier series is a naught by 2 plus summation an cos nx plus, I'm writing first the general one, bn sin nx, where a naught is 1 by L minus L to L fx dx, an yes. So what is going to happen if function is, sorry, it should be n pi by L x, because I've written the general formula, n pi by Lx, right? Because I'm writing for minus L to L. If L is equal to pi, you know the formulas will be derived from there only. So here also, sorry, here also I need to change this one. Right. So if fx is odd, so if fx is odd, then what is going to happen? A naught will be 0 and an will be 0, because of the result we know that minus a to a fx dx is going to be 0 if you have a odd function. This is something we know. So the a naught and an will be 0. So directly you just need to compute bn, and bn will also be 2 by l 0 to l f of x sine n pi by l x dx, right? So if the function is odd, so a naught and an are 0 and only bn is going to remain. So in this case, the Fourier series of fx, which is an odd function, it will be summation n is equal to 1 to infinity bn sine n pi by l x, right? So only sine terms will be there in the expansion. There will be no cosine term and there will be no constant term. Now you might be wondering that this is something we already know, and we have actually done this in the previous lectures, because there also I was telling you that even if you use the concept of odd even function or you do not use it, ultimately you will get the same final answer. But here now we are explicitly telling you that it is very much beneficial to first check whether the function is even or odd. You see, if the function happens to be odd function, you don't need to write the integrals of a naught and n. You can just directly compute bn, because you are very sure that a naught and an are definitely going to be 0. So this is the same, this is the similar example which we discussed for last time. This function fx is equal to x, which was defined for the interval minus pi to pi, and outside it was repeating. So we know that fx is equal to x is odd function. So if you remember, the final answer of its Fourier series was 2 times sine x minus sine 2x by 2 plus sine 3x by 3. So automatically it was just a sine series. It was not a cosine series. So this particular series which we get for odd function, this is known as Fourier sine series. It's a Fourier series, but particularly it's just a Fourier sine series, because the terms are just containing sine terms. And why it is happening? Because the underlying function was odd. So what will happen for even function? So the Fourier series of fx, if fx happens to be an even function, so in this case bn is going to be 0, right? Because you see bn, the definition of bn is this. So in this case, if this is even and this is odd, so even into odd, the product will be odd. So bn is going to be 0, while a naught and an are going to survive in the series. So let me just write that. So this is going to be known as Fourier cosine series, because bn is going to be 0. So directly you can just compute a naught and an by the same formulas. Okay, so the difference is a naught will be now, so this is the original formula for a naught. Right, yes, so now fx is even, so this will be 2 times 0 to l fx dx. And what will be the change in an? So an will be also 2 times 0 to l fx cos n pi by lx dx. So there's nothing new actually. It's the same thing. We know that this happens for even function, that the integral becomes 2 times and the limits get changed from 0 to l. So this also I told you last time, that even if you do not use this logic, still the final answer is going to be same. So for remembering these even and odd function, you don't need to remember anything new. Just remember this one. For odd function, a naught and an are 0. For even function, bn is 0. So for odd function, we get Fourier sine series. For even function, we get Fourier cosine series. So this Fourier cosine series example also we have done already in the previous lecture, which I just showed you in the beginning. This which we just finished in the previous class and actually finished it today. If you look at this series, this is just containing cosine terms. And for what function it was, if you look at the function, for which function it was computed, this was computed for this particular function. 0 and sin x. So here we did not check whether this is an even function or this is an odd function. So we just directly did the calculation and automatically bn turned out to be 0. But if we already knew that this is an even function, so we did not have wasted our time in computing bn. So that's why from this point onwards, whichever question we will be doing, so we will be checking first whether the function is an even function or an odd function. So that will save our time. Yes, Uday.
So this function is even or odd? This
Which one?
0 and sin x1.
You tell me what it should be by looking at its Fourier
Ma'am,
cosine series.
ma'am, this constant part is seeming to be even and sine part is odd.
Yeah, actually, that is what I'll show you now with another example, because you see the remarks which I just gave you for odd and even functions. Just a minute, which we just wrote here. So they were like for the functions which are defined continuously, the functions which are defined in a piecewise way, like this one which you are talking about, and we will do more examples. So there it is not that straightforward, right? So for piecewise defined function, it is not like if a function is something like odd, even, the final answer is what we do not know, whether the overall answer, suppose in half part of the domain, say from minus pi to 0 it is odd, or say from 0 to pi it is even, then we do not know what is going to happen here, right? So there is no general result which tells you that overall it is going to be an odd function or even function. So there we definitely need to check it all the time, right? So for that function which we just finished, you will check it again after I will show you how to do this checking. Okay, so there are two ways.
Okay.
Graphically also we can check, and otherwise also. So I'll give you one example and then you do the same thing for the previous example, and then you will figure out that that function actually is an even function. That's why its series automatically turning out to be a cosine series, not the sine series, right? So let me just show you the remarks which we wrote, and then I'll give you now we'll do few examples of checking of even odd and accordingly do the computation. Because now you have done pretty much questions, you all know how to compute and how to solve the integrals. So this is an additional part now we'll add to the questions, that check this as a first step. Yes, these are the remarks where we can use this in few examples. Sum of odd is odd, sum of even is even, sum of odd and even is neither even nor odd. So if you get a function which is neither even nor odd, so that means its Fourier series will contain even the sine series as well as the cosine series. So there you do not have any exception. Yeah, so let me just continue with this and with few more examples. I'll particularly show you how to check this kind of functions for even or odd. So let me just take up that example. Okay, so find Fourier series of fx cos x minus cos x minus pi to 0, 0 to pi. So this is a function given to me. So I told you that from this point onwards, although it is mentioned in the question or not mentioned in the question, but we will first try to establish whether that function falls into even or odd category. There may be functions which do not fall into any category, but we will first try. So like I just told you that if a function is defined piecewise this way, and half of the part is odd or half of the part is even, then we do not know what is going to be the overall function. But here if you see, both the parts are even. Cos x is an even function, right? This is an even function. What about minus cos x? Is that an even function or not? Yes, what about minus cos x? Minus cos x is same as minus cos x, means in the function minus cos x, if you change x with minus x, so the answer is same. So what I'm trying to say is, if you multiply an even function with just a scalar, so minus 1 is just a real number with which it is multiplied, so that does not change its, evenness or oddness. So cos x is also even function, minus of cos x is also an even function, right? I shown you here. So both the parts of this piecewise defined function are even functions, but still I do not know overall this fx is going to be an odd function or even function. So I am now trying to know whether this fx is odd or even. So let's do this mathematically and graphically also. Means I just want to put more clarity on how to do the things graphically. Otherwise, it's absolutely not necessary. You can do either way, only mathematically by the definition of odd even, or only graphically. So let's first do mathematically how we are going to check whether this function is odd function or even function. So for checking odd even function, we need to change x to minus x. Now we will be checking in two parts because our domain is divided in two parts. So first is when x lies from minus pi to 0. So when x lies from minus pi to 0, then now you want to change x to minus x. So in this case, your function is cosine x as per the definition. But when I will be finding f of minus x, then I cannot simply use this definition that function is equal to cosine x. Because when I will change x to minus x, what is going to happen? Minus x is going to lie between 0 to pi, right? If x lies from minus pi to 0, minus x will lie from 0 to pi. So that means for computing the function value at minus x, I will be using this definition, because whenever anything lies between 0 and pi, for that I have to use this part of the definition. So this is minus of cos of minus x, so which is minus of cos x. And what is minus of cos x? Minus of f of x, because ultimately I want to see the connection between f of x and f of minus x. Is this part clear? When x lies from minus pi to 0, the function definition will be used the above one, which is cos x. But when I want to compute f of minus x, so I'll be using the below definition, because minus x will lie from 0 to pi. So for computing f of minus x, I'll be using the below one, which is minus of cos x is not there, it is minus x. So cos of minus x, now I know cos of minus x is same as cos x, so this negative retains, so this is minus times f of x. So this gives you that this is a odd function, right? So individually, which I just wrote there, that cos x is even and minus cos x is even, these were written in the standard domain of cosine x, which is, we know the domain how it is. But you can see here now that it is actually coming out to be a odd function. The function defined this way is turning out to be an odd function. And similarly, when x lies from 0 to pi, in that case function is minus cos x, but minus x will lie from 0, means from minus pi to 0, right? So in that case, f of minus x will be cos of minus x, which is same as cos of x. And so cos of x is minus of fx, because f of x in this case is minus cos x, so they are turning out to be of opposite sign. So this means this is odd function. So it is actually an odd function. So now let's do graphically. If you are finding things that mathematically it's little bit confusing, actually it's not confusing, but you just have to be very carefully choosing the domain of the function. So graphically, what is happening? Let's try to draw the graph of this function. Yes, what is your function says that from minus pi to 0, the graph is of cos x, while from 0 to pi, the graph is of minus cos x. Let me see, am I right? Yeah, from minus pi to 0, it is cos x. From 0 to pi, it is minus of cos x. Yeah. So from where is minus pi? 0, the graph is cosine x. So you just draw the graph of cos x. So everybody knows the graph of cosine x. So from minus pi to 0, We know at minus pi this is minus of 1, and at 0 this is 1, and in between it takes value 0. So this is basically this. And then from 0 to pi it is minus of cos x. So minus of cos x means agar cos x hota so it would have been this one, but this is not cos x, this is negative of it, so it will be reflected in x-axis, so it is going to be this, right? So you see the final graph of the function is this one. So you see it turns out to be the odd function, because whatever is happening in the uh, howsoever it is behaving in the first quadrant, the same is going to like that. So you can check both ways that this is an odd function mathematically, or you can check it graphically. So once you know this is an odd function, now what series will be having? Fourier sine series or Fourier cosine series? So it will be having just sine series, because in this case your a naught is going to be 0 and an is going to be 0. So you can see yourself how much time it is going to save. If you do not check this way that this is odd or even, you directly start doing the calculation computing a naught and an, that will simply lead to just additional calculation. So I just need to compute bn. So bn is now 2 by pi 0 to pi f of x sine nx dx, because you know the general formula of bn is, for minus pi to pi interval we know that it is 1 by pi minus pi to pi this, but since it is even function, because fx is odd and sine nx is odd, so odd into odd is even, so that's why I can use this simplification. It is 2 by pi 0 to pi, so it's 2 by pi 0 to pi. Yeah, so now you see where is your integration limit? It is 0 to pi. You know the overall domain is minus pi to pi, but your integration limit is 0 to pi. So in 0 to pi, you will be using what part? I'm sorry. Yeah, you look at the function definition. Where is the function definition? F of x is given to you. What is the value of the function from 0 to pi? Minus cos x. And since we are integrating only from 0 to pi, so the value of fx which I'll be using is minus cos x sine nx dx. Right? So you can solve this one, and I'm telling you the final value. So this is again, you will be using the formula of 2 cos a sine b. So minus say 1 by pi. So this 2 will get adjusted in 2 cos a sine b. So that will be sine a plus b minus sine a minus b. So 1 minus n will be there, or this negative can be adjusted outside, plus ho jayega, and this can be n minus 1, however you want to adjust it. And then you can now very easily do the integration of sine both the terms. So I'm telling you the final term. The final term is minus 2n by pi n square minus 1 plus minus 1 raised to power n. So you did just verify, it's not difficult. So again, you see n square minus 1 is occurring here. So that means this formula is defined for n not equals to 1, because otherwise the denominator will be 0. So what you are computing is bn. So on the similar lines, I need to compute b1 separately, because for n is equal to 1, this is not defined. So to compute b1, the formula, same formula we are going to use, 2 by pi 0 to pi f of x. Now sine nx will be just sine x. So minus 2 by pi 0 to pi cos x sine x. So I've used the same definition of fx minus cos x. 1 by pi 0 to pi. So 2 sine x cos x is sine 2x. Obviously the negative is retained. minus 1 by pi. Integral of sine is minus of this, and this will be 0 because cos 2 pi will be 1 and cos 0 will also be 1. So the upper and lower limit takes the same value. So therefore the final answer will be 0. So the B1 which we computed separately is turning out to be 0. So the final answer is Fourier sine series summation Bn sine nx. So n is going to start from 2 to infinity now because n is equal to 1. Your value is turning out to be 0. So this is summation n is equal to 2 to infinity. The value of Bn which we have just computed, we can write that down. Minus 2n by pi n square minus n 1 plus minus 1 raised to power n into sine n x. So this is the final Fourier series expansion. If you want to further simplify it one more step, so the constant minus 2 by pi will come outside because rest of the terms are functions of n. They have to remain inside because summation is running over n. Yes, Abhinav.
मैम जैसे आपने यहाँ पे बताया था कि हमें या तो मैथमेटिकली या ग्राफिकली चेक करना है, देखने के लिए इवन है ऑड, हम ऐसे कर सकते हैं कि जैसे हमें वो पीस वाइज डिफाइन यहाँ पे दिया हुआ है cos x में और माइनस cos x में, हमने उसको पूरा लिख लिया, लाइक ए एन और बी एन लिख लिया, और फिर हम वहां से चेक कर ले डायरेक्टली वो एफ ऑफ एक्स और एफ ऑफ माइनस एक्स डाल के, वैसे देख सकते हैं हम?
I didn't get you. Sorry, can you repeat that?
यस मैम, जैसे कि यहाँ पे पीस वाइज डिफाइंड है ये cos x और माइनस cos x में, एंड हम जब आपने बोला था कि जब ऐसा होता है वी जस्ट स्प्लिट इट अक्रॉस द लिमिट्स ना, माइनस पाई से 0, हम फिर उसे वैसे करके नहीं चेक कर सकते डायरेक्टली इस वाली डेफिनेशन से f ऑफ माइनस x इज इक्वल टू माइनस f ऑफ x से, इंस्टेड ऑफ ये मैथमेटिकली देखने से?
Actually, what is happening, जो हम बोलते हैं कि कोसाइन एक्स इवन फंक्शन है, तो वो कोसाइन एक्स इवन फंक्शन तब है जब वो पूरा कोसाइन एक्स है. लाइक यू नो कोसाइन एक्स हम बोलते हैं, जब से मैं बोलूंगी कॉस एक्स, आपको पता है इसका पीरियड 2 पाई है, तो वो 2 पाई जो एक्चुअल ग्राफ है कोसाइन एक्स का, वी नो दिस इज दिस, राइट? सो इसका आप ग्राफ देखो, सो वी नो इट्स एन इवन फंक्शन कमिंग सिमेट्रिकल विद रिस्पेक्ट टू द बाय एक्सेस. बट यहाँ पे ये जो फंक्शन है, ये दिखने में आपको लग रहा है ये कोसाइन एक्स और कॉस एक्स उसी का पार्ट है, बट एक्चुअल में ये उनके सब पार्ट्स हैं. जैसे इधर तो सिर्फ इतना पार्ट ले लिया और इधर ये नहीं लिया, इसको हमने रेप्लिकेट कर दिया. सो दैट्स वाई जो ओवरऑल फंक्शन बना, इट हैपेंस टू बी एन ऑड फंक्शन. अब अगर आप कह रहे हो कि हम इस स्टेप पे नहीं चेक करना चाहते और डायरेक्टली इंटीग्रल कंप्यूट करने लग जाते हो, सपोज आप ए नॉट कंप्यूट करोगे, ए एन कंप्यूट करोगे, वहां पे फिर आप डोमेन स्प्लिट करने के बाद यूज कर सकते हो लॉजिक. डोमेन जब दो इंटीग्रल ब्रेक हो गए, फिर आप इवन ऑड का लॉजिक वहां पे यूज कर सकते हो. वहां पे देखो व्हाट इज गोइंग टू हैपन, जब आपकी डोमेन स्प्लिट होगी ना, से आप इसमें जाते हो ए नॉट में, सो ए नॉट इज 1 बाई पाई माइनस पाई टू पाई एफ ऑफ एक्स डी एक्स. दिस इज अ फॉर्मूला. सो यहाँ पे यू विल स्प्लिट माइनस पाई टू 0. So minus pi to 0, you will be using cos x, and then from 0 to pi, you will be using minus cos x, right? And now there is no point of using the even odd concept, because for using even odd integral simplification, your limits should be of the form minus pi to pi, minus a to a. So now when you have splitted it up, so then there is no point of checking even odd. Then you just have to solve the integral only. Okay. Yeah, because even odd is valid in the integral only when the limits are from the complete domain. Otherwise, you want to do the calculation, there is no problem. You can verify this. It will automatically turn out to be 0. Whatever the value of this is coming, the same value will be coming, and because of a negative sign, वो cancel हो जाएगा. So you're always safe if you don't want to check even odd function. It's just you need to do the extra calculation. But वो आएगा, 0 आएगा, हमेशा आएगा. So then आपको लास्ट में पता चलेगा, okay, this was the even function, that's why a naught and a n both were turning out to be 0. Right? So you just try to increase your improve your calc efficiency in checking this even and odd function. This was a difficult example. Otherwise, for normal examples, it is very easy to see the even odd function. This deliberately I took as a difficult example because for easier example, you already know how to check even and odd function. These for piecewise function, just need to be careful. Yes, Uday, you have a doubt?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, how did we conclude it from the graph that it was odd function, ma'am? Because ma'am, symmetric about pole origin.
Yeah, you see, whatever is the graph is happening here. Like if you look at the interval 0 to pi by 2. Oh, okay. Yeah, if you look at the interval, say this 0 to pi by 2. इतना part देखो आपके graph का. So whatever is happening in the fourth quadrant, the same graph is replicating in the second quadrant. And similarly, whatever is, so you understand, right? So first and third are symmetric with respect to origin, means reflection with respect to origin. So whatever will be the graph in the first quadrant, the same will be the graph in the third, and similarly second and fourth will be reflections of each other. So similarly, you see this one and this one, they are reflections of each other, and this one, they are reflections of each other. So in pieces you have to see, because this is a discontinuous function, so you cannot see at the points of discontinuity what is the value, but their curves, you see that. But nothing is there, so nothing is there. These values are not there, but these are the values.
Okay.
Yeah, actually it's a combination of two things. It's periodic also, that's why you might feel it might give you feeling that it is symmetric with respect to y-axis. Actually it's not symmetric with respect to y-axis. If you go over, symmetric with respect to y-axis is this, whatever is this, the same is this. It's not that, it's opposite of that. So that's why it is an odd function. So what I'll suggest you is all of you is just mathematically be expert on checking the odd and even function, and these are very few examples which you will find little bit uh, trickier to check that, but otherwise we'll do more examples, and there are more examples in your tutorial sheet to check whether the functions are even and odd. But you will see this, it will save a lot of time. Directly you just need to compute one of the a naught, an and bn. Okay, so that's all for today. We are done with time. We'll do a few more examples of this odd even function checking again and writing the Fourier series expansion in the next lecture, and then we'll continue towards the next topic. Yes, Agrim?
Yes, ma'am. Please show the last slide now.
Okay. This one?
No, ma'am. The last one.
The
In
value?
the end. Yes, ma'am. In the end.
Okay, we computed bn and then we computed b1 was 0. So this is the final series. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Ma'am.
This is n by n square minus 1. Bracket may you have 1 plus minus 1 raised to power n into sine nx. Okay, I'll take rest of your doubts next time. Yeah, thank you. We're done with time actually. Thank you so much.